welcome to lesson 2 on this introduction to SketchUp. We're going to log into our accounts first of all, so go to your web browser and in the address bar type in edu, so edu.sketchup.com as shown there, and press enter. Hopefully it will take you straight to the login screen. As you can see on the screen here, press sign in with Microsoft. And we'll give you a choice to sign in with your school email address. Hopefully it's already saved, but if not, you can re-enter that. Last week we started a basic house. We're going to make it a bit more complicated today. We will go back into that maybe and adapt it a bit later, but we're going to start a fresh one today to start practicing some new skills. So press create new and go to simple template meters. Now before we actually start, I'm going to do a quick reminder of the movement tools. I did say that you can do all of this using just the movement tools down here, so that if you don't have a 3-button mouse, you can still do everything you need to. So rotating, orbiting it's called, or panning, or zooming in and out. I'm going to do a quick recap of how you can use your mouse to do that. Before I do that, there's something about this man I find I'd like to change him basically. So I'm going to click on him, so left click, right click, and then press erase. But we do want to have a scale model there, so that when we're making our house or whatever we happen to be, we can see roughly how big it is in relationship to something from the real world. So if you go over here to the right hand side, go to components, it says search 3D warehouse. I'm going to type in scale model. Sorry, not scale model, scale figure. And all it will do is it'll give you a large choice of other scale figures that people have already created. And when you found one that you think is suitable for yours, you can double click it, it will download it into your environment, and then you can click where you want it to be. And then if you press escape on the keyboard, he's there ready, and then I'm going to press close panel there. So a quick recap of the viewing tools. Rotating the middle wheel, hold down the middle wheel and move the mouse around will orbit. Holding down shift and holding down the middle wheel will pan, and rolling the wheel backwards and forwards will zoom. So to show you, let me show you those in action. So I'm holding down the middle wheel and rotating allows me to orbit around. Holding down the shift and the middle wheel allows me to pan, so move from side to side. And rotating the middle wheel allows me to zoom in and out. Okay, so today we're going to try and draw a slightly more advanced house with something called eaves. Eaves are these part of the roof which stick out beyond the wall to basically move water away from the edge of the house, so that if it rains, the water falls away from the house rather than dribbling straight down the wall. It's called an eave. So we're going to try and draw a house with some eaves on today. It's going to be slightly more complicated than this house. We're also going to have two what's called ridges, so when the roof goes in one direction and then changes direction and comes down in another direction, we're going to have that on our house that we make. Okay, so let's start by building we'll create some rectangles on the floor. So I'm going to click once, drag out my rectangle to say there, and then create another rectangle like this, so that our house is two rectangles at the base. I'm going to delete this middle line here, so click the select tool and click it so it goes blue, and I'm going to hit delete on my keyboard to get rid of it, or you could have used the erase tool here. I'm going to just right click on it and tell it to reverse faces. Now click on this push pull tool, click on the face, and if you move the mouse up and down, it will take it up and down for you. I'm going to give it a specific specific height I want it to be. So I'm going to ask it to be 2.8 meters. Press enter on my keyboard and it will do that for me. Okay, right, I'm going to pan over this way a little bit and rotate so we can get a better view of the roof. Okay, so let's just have a quick look again at what we're aiming for. These two ridges meeting at this point over here. I'm going to show you how to do it incorrectly so that you understand then how we would try and do it correctly. So first I'm going to press the line tool and I'm going to go, well, where are these edges going to meet? So let's say there, move along there, and then come down this way with my line tool. If I drag these up into the sky, it kind of looks cool in a way, but it's not a symmetrical house. It's not how we want it to be. So that's not good enough. We need to make sure we know exactly where the central points are to meet exactly the right position. So if I take the line tool, come along this edge till I find my blue dot, click it, and I need to know, well, where do I need to stop here to then come down in this direction? Because there's no easy way to tell. So you take the pen tool down here, or the line tool, until you hit that face, and then you find that blue dot again. You don't need to click at this point, you just find it, and then you take your mouse backwards, and it will automatically take you along the right line. You'll see a green line on your screen. You may not be able to see it on the film, but there is a green line there until you hit the right point, and the other line will go red because it's parallel with the red axis. You then click that there, it's made a point there. You then bring your pen tool down this direction until you hit the central point there and click that there. Okay, so next I want to bring the roof up into the sky. So to do that, first of all I'm going to need to select both of those lines. I'm going to press the select tool, click one, and then I'm going to hold Control on my keyboard, and the the cursor will have a little add sign on it, and I need to then click that one there, so they're both selected at the same time. Then click the move tool, find this central point here, click, hold, and then drag up into the sky, and you'll see that dotted blue line. You want to make sure, I've got a black line at the moment, I've kind of ruined it, but you want to make sure you're always going up on that dotted blue line like that. Then you'll have perfect center point from on each wall, and then you've got that shape there. Good. Okay, next we're going to create the eave. So I want you to click the tape measure tool and go along this edge until you find the center point there. Click one time, bring the mouse in a bit, and I'm going to set this to exactly 30 centimeters, which is 0.30 meters. You can see that in the bottom right hand corner, and press enter. That's going to draw a guideline for me. Now I'm going to do that on the same edge over here, on a different edge over here. I'm going to go to the central point, click it one time, bring it in a little bit. I'm going to type in 0.30 meters for 30 centimeters, press enter again, and it's drawn some guidelines for where the eaves are. I actually need to draw over those now using the line tool, so get the line pen, click there, come along to there, and then bring it down this way. Okay, then click the push-pull tool, click on this face here, click it one time, and I want this to come out exactly 20 centimeters, so I'm going to type 0.20 meters, press enter. Oops, right, let me do that again. Click it one time and then bring it out a little bit to get it started, then press 0.20 meters, press enter. In fact, I don't really like that, that's not quite deep enough actually. I'm going to change that to 0.50 meters. So half a meter. Good. Right, and delete those guidelines, so get the delete tool and delete the guidelines. Now, I want the eaves on this section here as well. So, I'm going to take the line tool, click from there. Now, when you're drawing a line, you want to make sure it's parallel with the axes on the landscape. So we want to make sure there's this red line coming along here. Click it like that. Now push-pull tool, if we pull out this face like we pulled out the last one, it's going to come out flat, which is not, in this case, what we want to happen. So the way around that is going to push this face in instead. So we'll click on this face here, push it in. In fact, I'm going to click it one time to get it started. Then I'm going to say 0.50 meters, like on the previous face, and press enter. Okay, so I'm going to continue doing that around the building. So I'm going to start again on this face here. I'm going to press the line tool. So I'm going to do this too. Find this, oh no, not the line tool, sorry, the tape measure tool. Click the tape measure tool. Find this central point here. Click it one time. And I'm going to set that to 0.30 meters. Press enter. And we're going to do the same on this edge. So find the central point, which is the blue dot. Bring it in a little bit. And press. Now in this case, by the way, we want it to be a purple line. Maybe slightly different colour to yours, but it's not parallel with the blue, green or red landscape lines, as you can see down here. We want it to be parallel with the line of this roof going purple there. So 0.30 meters again. Press enter. Now we're going to have to draw lines on those, so press the line tool. So start here, draw up to there, down to there, and then the push-pull tool. So click on the face, bring it out a little bit to get it started, and then go to press 0.50 meters, press enter. Good. Delete those guidelines. Now I'm going to do the line tool. Let me rotate there. So a line from there along to there, and I'm going to click this space here and start it off. I'm going to say I want it to go in this case, well, 0.50 meters. Yeah, there we go. So that all matches up nicely. Okay, so this face should be a bit more straightforward. All we need to do here is click the line tool, click that point there, drag it along to here, and click this face and get it started, and go 0.50 meters, press enter. That's perfect. And then come over this way. I'm panning by pressing shift and the middle mouse button. And I've finished this side here. So go to central, click the line tool, click there, and across to there. And click the push pull tool, click the face, get it started, and then I'm going to write 0.50 meters. Good, right, let's just inspect this house, make sure it's how we want it. Good, that is perfect. Okay, next step is to make this house look a bit more realistic. So we're going to make the walls have a texture. So go to this paint tool here at the side and paint there. Now, you should bring up this, it'll probably come up looking like this to start with on yours. If you press here, browse, it should come up looking like this. We want brick cladding and siding for the side of the house, so click that, and then choose one that you're happy with. Oh no, I want wood actually. I'm going to go for wood. So let's try the wood panel like that. There you go. You can choose whatever you like because it's just a paint tool really. But yeah, so I click the one I liked. I'm going to go around the house, clicking every face that I want to look like that. For the roof, I want roofing. So click on there. I'm going to go for some of this pattern here. So tie around the edges like that. Now you don't normally clap the eaves aren't normally tiled like this. If you go and have a look on your own house, you'll see that they're not generally the same as the top of the roof. But for purposes of this, undo. For purposes of this, I'm going to have it like that. So go around, finishing every edge. So so here with our house with all the textures on, I actually realised the next bit is going to be slightly easier for me if I make this wall white again. So I'm going to click it. Oh, no, that's what I wanted to do. I'm going to select here, make sure I'm on this part. Okay, make it white again. And I'll show you why this helps in a minute. Okay, then I'm going to draw a rectangle for a window. So something like this. Now we're going to use a new tool called the offset tool. Now what the offset tool basically does is takes whatever shape you've got selected and then draws a similar but larger or smaller shape within or just outside it. So I'll click down on the rectangle with this offset tool and it's trying to draw the rectangle something within it with the same center but larger or smaller. So there's one there, and I'm going to do it again, this time slightly bigger. Okay, so let's zoom in on that. Okay, so the point of doing that is because I want to give the window a bit more of a 3D effect. So I'm going to push in on the central rectangle, and I'm going to pull out on the outer one. And so now I've got this kind of 3D window effect with a frame. Now I'm going to make the central part glass, so I'm going to click paint, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go down to where my glass is. We've got several choices here. I'm going to choose this slightly cloudy looking one. Okay, good. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to put the wood paneling back on the side of the building. Now I'm actually going to use a tool you may have just noticed where instead of choosing the paint, we can use the pipette to select a colour or a texture. So it's selected up in the screen there, the wood one already for me, and I can just paint it like that. Okay, so I want to make some copies of this window. I don't want to have to redo that whole process every time for every window I do. It's going to be the identical window. I can just basically copy and paste it. Slightly different from usual. You want to click the select button, select the whole area of the thing you want to copy. It's now a good time to right click on it and say make group, and then I'm going to click on this move tool here. So click the move tool, click on the shape you want to make a copy of. Now I'm starting to move it around. I'm going to return it to where it was originally. Now press Control on the keyboard and it will make a copy for you, and you can put the copy wherever you like. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to click it. Now I'm going to press Control and move it around. Moving those windows onto different wall is more complicated than I want to go into today, but we can certainly draw new windows on other walls. So if I click on rectangle here, if I want it to have the same base, if you remember from last time we used the tape measure, click on the base, click on a point on this window, drag it along this way, and then that way, and that will give us a base point for our windows so that we know they're all lined up. So if I start a window along here, have a larger one over here, I'll know that it's in the correct alignment with the other one. And then I can go offset, wrong one, offset it, so bring it in. In fact, I'm going to bring this one in and bring it in. I'll undo that one. So bring this one in again, and then if I zoom in, use the push-pull tool to bring this face out slightly, this face in. I forgot that I wanted to make this white to start with, otherwise I'm going to struggle. pull this one out slightly, and pull that in. Then use the pipette to select the wood. So now we've got the window frame still white, and we can paint the glass like we did last time. And last thing we're going to do today is to draw a door with an offset. So select a rectangle, draw your door to the height you want it. Now if I offset this shape, this rectangle here, you end up with the rectangle going into the ground, which is not what we want to happen. So we can just offset it along 3 of the edges. So let's go and do that. Select the 3 edges. So 1, hold Control on the keyboard, 2, 3. Then go to the offset tool, and we can just offset it. And it will only draw those 3 edges offset, and that will do for that. If I push pull on the door frame like so, and then we can give our door colour if we want. Okay, so I'm happy with that at the moment. I'm going to delete these guidelines here and here. Okay, so we're going to draw a chimney pot like we did last time. I'm going to do it by, I'm going to start here with the line tool, click, draw a line up, make sure that it's parallel with the vertical axis, which is blue, bring it along, parallel with the red axis, and then bring it down, parallel with the blue axis again. And then I'm going to use the push-pull tool to push this face into the house, and then I'm going to go to this face and push that one. Now that's kind of ruined my textured effects. If I delete that face, and sorry, delete the line, I should say. Click the line there, press delete. Click the line there, press delete. It's ruined the texture of my roof, but we can fix that fairly easily by clicking the paint and the sample material. Click it, and we can paint the roof. And then with the chimney pot, now if I was going to be really skillful about this, I could offset the top of the chimney pot to make it go down. So I'm going to press offset. Now, so I've created that internal rectangle. I can now get the push-pull tool, push that down. There we go. And I'm going to paint the chimney pot. So choose a material. I think I'll go with a brick, because it wouldn't be tile, it would be brick if it was going up like that. So let's go with that brick there. So, there you go. So save your work, press save, click the OneDrive, call it house number 2, press save, and you're done.